Welcome to SDH's coverage of everything going on in the NPSL Southeast. We're down to the conference final happening tomorrow, happening on Saturday at Ted Mackerel in Boone. And we will let you know how we got there when it comes to this part of the schedule. National ranking for Appalachian FC on the line, somewhere in the top 5. They've been fairly consistently all season long. Hickory FC would like to have something to say about that, and they may very well on Saturday evening. Since we were with you last, time to catch you up on what happened the last week of the regular season and the first two matches the first match in the playoffs, the conference semifinals. So let's go back in time and let you know what happened last week of the regular season. In that, you ended up with Bristol Rhythm getting a 3-0 win over Greenville United. We'll catch up with Diane Smith, the owner and GM of Bristol Rhythm, later on in the show about what it was like for them this first season. Gets us to our match of the week. Apotheos and Port City FC. Our own Jared Smith had a 7-goal thriller. And here's your highlights, courtesy of our friends at the NPSL Southeast, Apotheos FC and AS. MG.
Play it through for Guzman, nobody there. Vorbic has got it. Puts his foot on the ball, slow things down a bit. Chisholm will try and close him down with Guzman and force the action. Cut out quite nicely. Guzman able to bring it down. Nice touch from Guzman. Fires in the back of the net. Apotheos take a 1-0 lead in the 14th minute. Alexander Guzman. And just like that, Apotheos doing their end of the job. Remember, they're going to need some help this evening from 865 Alliance if they want to host a playoff game in the middle of the week. Nice footwork from Andrew Chica. Chica pulls it back. He's got Tommy Red for him. Red. Switching play all the way across. Nyanhu's coming into the attack now. Chisholm flicks that into the box, trying to get it on. Eventually it's going to be turned in for a goal. And Apotheos off and running. Andrew Chica, all that hard work paying off as he puts it in the back of the net. In the 18th minute, it's Apotheos 2, Port City 0. In swinging corner from Lake Yaka, back in the middle of the box, looking for Strachan, unable to bring it down. Justin Guest there, though. Guzman has his shot blocked. Red flips it over to the right-hand side. Liam Vivian on it, just fresh into the game, part of this midfield change. Nyanhu's looking for it. Nyanhu's fires in. He sneaks it in to the corner. Dave Nyanhu's gets on the score sheet. He wanted in the attack. He got it. Apotheos 3, Port City 0. Well, so dangerous are those recycled set pieces. A good ball from Vivian. Nyanhu's turns on it with his left foot, sneaks it into a size about the size of a ball that he had to work with to get it past Ryan Aiken. Apotheos 3-0 lead here in the 66th minute. Gideon switches it back and left it for Tommy Red. Tommy Red didn't seem to want it till the last minute. Now Jordan Beam starts running without the ball. Leber's on it for Port City. 77th minute, 3-0. This ball might get there, it might not. It's lifted up in the air, and that's going to fall into the back of the net, and it's a goal for Port City as they get on the board. Eduardo Rivera Yayo puts one in for Port City. It makes it 3-1 in the 77th minute. Strachan does a great job of dealing with Odd in a 2-on-2 situation, fires it away. Kean Gantley voicing his displeasure at a bit of contact. Referee says keep playing on. Chris Wiley will take this throw in for Port City, who have found a little bit of life on the counter in the last few minutes. 80 minutes, almost 81st minute. Here's Silverbacks Park. Apotheos lead 3-1. And a jumbled mess through the middle of the field. Eventually it's going to fall to Martin Rivera. Rivera trying to keep his feet. Rivera's able to keep his feet. Rivera able to turn. Gets past the keeper and puts that in the back of the net. And what is going on? Port City have come to life in the last 5 minutes. Martin Rivera puts one back there in the 80th minute. It is 3-2. And we have entered NPSL after dark here at Silverbacks Park. Hosting Charlottetown, if this result holds here at Silverbacks Park, which I don't know. And this ball's played over the top, and Tanaka is able to get on to the end of it. Kodai Tanaka, 1v1. Kodai Tanaka, what a save! Kodai Tanaka cleans it up, and Kodai Tanaka says goodnight. Great ball over the top since he came into the game. Tanaka's been looking for that verticalidad. He finds it there. Great initial save from Ryan Aiken, but it falls right to Tanaka. And he's able to make it 4-2 in the 85th minute. Over to Tanaka. Witten over to Vivian. Looking for Justin Guest. He's got him. Guest trying to line it up. Lay it back to Liam Vivian. Vivian to Tanaka in the middle of the box. Tanaka eliminates one, fires, and it's a goal! Take a bow, Mr. Tanaka. A second half brace puts Apotheos up 5-2.
7 goals on the board. Apotheos gets the Duke in their home finale at Silverbacks Park. Appalachian FC shuts out Charlottetown Hops by the final of 3-0. Hickory puts 6 on 865 Alliance at Hardin Valley, and that was the end of the regular season. So what does that mean when it came to the standings? It meant that App ended up with a record of 8-0-2. They were your number 1 seed. Hickory 7-2-1. They were number 2. Apotheos at 6-2-2. They were your 3. Charlottetown Hops 5-3-2, and they were your number 4. Below the playoff bar, 865 Alliance finished with 4 wins and 4 losses and 2 draws in their regular season. That finishes them up with 14 points. Greenville United had 3 draws in their 10 matches. They also had a win, and because of that, they end up ahead of Bristol Rhythm on goal difference. Each team had 6 points on the season. Bristol Rhythm had 2 wins. For them, it was either wins or losses. Bristol Rhythm, 2 wins, 8 losses. Greenville United had 1 win, 6 losses, 3 draws, and a goal difference of -11. So that was why Greenville was 6, Bristol Rhythm 7. Port City did not win a match in 2024's NPSL Southeast season. They did have 2 draws on the year and finished up with 2 points. So that meant that Charlottetown Hops would be going to App all over again. Apotheos would be going to Hickory. First and foremost, on the SDH Morning Show, we caught up with Apotheos head coach Jon Mercado after the regular season was over and they were getting ready for this matchup against Hickory. Here's the conversation that I had along with Diane Smith with head coach Jon Mercado. Yeah, and we're catching up now with the guy that you've got to see a lot of this season, Jonathan Mercado, the head coach of Apotheos FC, as they get ready for a road trip to Lenore, Ryan, and Hickory. Coach, as always, great to catch up with you here on the morning show. What's going on?
What's going on, guys? Good morning. Hope all is well. Just out here getting the day going, man. I'm excited. It's been an amazing season, and looking forward to chatting up more with you guys.
Jarrett, bat leadoff with the guy that you've been watching all season.
Coach, I know we talked a little bit after the game about the way guys reacted last time. I wanted to kind of get into that more of, like, you had the disappointment against Appalachian, but then you handed guys opportunities in this last game. I wanted to ask your thoughts on how everyone responded on decision day when challenged.
I love it, man. I love these types of questions. I love these types of situations because it's part of life. It's part of soccer. The hardest part of my job as a head coach is, as the season goes on, players start molding, the chemistry starts getting better. Players start stepping up. Some players, stay stagnant. And I don't say that in a rude or disrespectful way. It's just how it is, in any team. I thought it was appropriate to use this last game, not because, we're playing against this team that's on this side of the table or what. No, I just, it was the last game of the season. We've had guys ride with us since day one. And I just felt it was appropriate, through the training and performances that I've been seeing, to give them a chance. And, no one likes to hear the news of, that, they're not starting and this and that. It's just the baller, you can say, that lives in all of us. We're all competitive. We all want to play. But one of a big message that I sent to the team, and even in practice yesterday, is what's more important? Is is this about you or is the team come first? And I love hearing from everybody say, no, the team, it's always going to be the team. I'm like, okay, then you have to show that through your actions, especially our leaders on the team, the veterans on our team, that, if they got to make way for the young guys to come in and close the game out, then so be it. You know what I mean? So I thought there was a great response. It was a choppy game at one point, going up 3-0 and then giving up 2 goals very quickly. But hey, that's soccer, man. We came out, we responded right after. But I'm very proud of my team just because of the way they responded to the challenge. I know some of them at first may have been bothered, but I think as the game went on, they kind of started seeing the reasoning behind why I made these changes. And at the end of the day, the team got the win. And, all is well now, just preparing for Hickory.
What do you think you need to still work on to be at that vision of Apotheos FC that you had in your mind coming into this season to be successful?
Truly, it's myself, Coach Allen, and Joe. We always preach it, and I think these guys are so tired of hearing it. But I'm a very tiki-taka, keep a hold of the ball as long as we can type of player, type of coach. That's my philosophy. It's not just blindly just keeping the ball until we lose it. It's with purpose, with urgency. A lot of transitions on the field, getting our mids involved, even to drag others, the opponent, out of positions. That's been my main vision of this team, the philosophy. And we finally are starting, as every game we played, I think we started presenting it more and more and more and executing it more. But then there's still times where I think either the nerves or the anxiousness in the game get to us, and then we start falling into this hole of, our old habits, or falling into the, letting the other team kind of dictate our tempo. And one of my messages in the last game was, can we dictate the tempo for 90 minutes? And I tell them all the time, I'm not looking for perfection, guys. I'm not looking for you guys to go and bag hat tricks, and that's not even what I don't look for that. What I'm looking for is, can we be a consistent team that shows our identity from minute 1 to minute 90? And I think this last game, besides those 5 minutes, I think we demonstrated what we are capable of. And going into this game against Hickory, I love this beautiful sport because it gives you chances of redemption. And I know for a fact, we're not the same team we were in the first game, but I know Hickory isn't either. And I know they've been prepping up just as much as we have. Congratulations to them for finishing second. And I know it's going to be an amazing game, but if there's something that we're going to keep harping on for Apotheos FC is, can we keep our identity from minute 1 to minute 90, keeping the ball, valuing the ball, bouncing the ball, a lot of transitions, and, can the end goal be either, something positive, a shot on goal, a corner kick, free kick, anything that says that, we have tired out the opposition. They're tired of running, they get desperate. And, that's what we've been aiming for all season.
Coach, you talk about that ruthlessness, and it's something that y'all have showed a lot this season. There have been a couple games where you've left it late, but you've found a way to punish teams and put games away. And how hard is that to kind of instill, but also like to see it executed in the sense where you have your players realize this team is on the ropes. We don't need to let them off the ropes.
Oh, brother, I tell these guys all the time, I think I need to write a book about all these like little quotes I'd be telling them. I say, when you got all a team needs is hope. And I think what has put us in certain sticky situations is that we produce a lot. We'll send players, we send numbers up. We try to pin teams in and keep possession of the ball. And I think our style sometimes can be risky. We lose the ball in a bad spot, and then all of a sudden we're getting countered. But, it's one of those things where we have responded well in certain situations. But I think to answer your question, it's kind of tough to even explain it. It's how can I say? Can you repeat the question one more time, Jared?
No, you're good, man. But it's like
I got lost in the sauce.
Basically, just how is it getting it through to guys, and how do they respond to, and are they able to? And able to actually convert it of when you've got a team on the ropes, not letting them off the ropes, like just putting the game out of reach.
Yes. So, yes, I was telling you, yes. So, one thing I harp on these guys a lot is, man, all the team needs is hope. You know, when we're producing chance after chance, after chance, after chance, after chance, after chance, and that ball is just not going in, and then out of nowhere, they get one break to the other side, and then, you know, it's a goal. You know, that could be very devastating. And we've encountered that a couple times this season. But, you know, like to your point, we do have guys that I think the experience, the veteran that comes out of a lot of our guys on the team is that, you know, we don't let it phase us. You know, my coaches have to do our best to try to keep these guys, you know, our head up, you know, grab the ball, put it back, and let's get this show going again, because the game is not just 1 minute. It's a 90-minute game. You know, if something happens in 1 minute, it is what it is. We still got time to play. But, you know, there have been times that, like I was telling you, our style can cause us sometimes can be a little risky. You know, we keeping the ball, we have numbers up. But if there's something that I've really tried to harp on these guys is, boys, like, we have to put this game out of reach. You have to, you know, put your foot on their throat and not take it off. It's, you know, I don't want to sound too vague, but it's kind of like that, you know, because all a team needs is hope. And with each miss, with each chance produced, and we're just not finding that end product, man, teams on the other end are like, oh, well, we got this, you know. If it's not going in for them, and it can go in for us. And trust me, even my old man tells me all the time, he's like, if you're not the one scoring, you're the one getting scored on. So, you know, I hope that answers the question. But, you know, I'm you know, tomorrow I told these boys, these type of games are going to come down to moments of truth. They're going to come down to free kicks, set pieces, you know, dumb fouls around the box, corner kicks, dumb foul in the box. Like, you know, we could play beautiful all game long, but one lapse of focus, you know, it could be the end of us. But we are prepping hard mentally, mostly, to stay in this game and to just execute our identity from minute 1 to minute 90.
And we're looking forward to it. As always, Coach, great to catch up with you here on the morning show as you get ready for the first round of the NPSL Southeast playoffs with your trip to Lenoir-Rhyne and catching up with Hickory. By the way, tomorrow morning, 10:30, we're having Coach Rubio on the show. So if you want to listen to what's going on with Coach Rubio, you can do that tomorrow. But I just want to give you that heads up when you're on the road. Be safe getting up there for the matchup. It's always great to have you here on the show, and we'll catch up soon, my friend.
You guys are the best. Thank you for all the love and support this season. We are going to do our best to represent Atlanta to the core. So thank you.
Then, after the wins in the conference semifinals, Apotheos losing to Hickory, Appalachian, they were tied at the half and beating Charlottetown. We caught up with the two winning coaches. It was Carlos Rubio for Hickory FC, who stepped out of the dorms at Lenoir-Rhyne to catch up with us, and Dale Parker, who looked like, if you were watching on the live version, he'd been watching film all night trying to get ready for Hickory. So here's the conversations that we had with Carlos Rubio and with Dale Parker. Bases dropped on Thursday Thoughts here on Soccer's Morning Show. And because the show is so stacked, I can't waste any time. I'm in the mountains. I'm in a second house in 3 days. Everything is fine. And hanging out with us, Carlos Rubio, after how late of a night was it for you last night with a win? How late of a night was it, Carlos? There he is.
There we go. I think problems of the life.
No worries. How late of a night was it for you last night?
What's that, sorry?
How late of a night was it for you?
Hasn't finished yet, John. The night hasn't finished. It's just we went from the moon to the sun, but it's still in the same place.
And you get the win last night in the opening round of the NPSL Conference semifinals in the Southeast. We've talked about how heavy it is and how crowded it is and how competitive it is. Break down the match last night for those that didn't get the chance to see it.
Just a fantastic environment. Just another great night of soccer here in Hickory. Really two good teams going at each other. From the start, you could tell that there was a lot to play for. Both teams Took about 5 to 10 minutes to get into the swing of things. I think the context played a big factor of that. But after that, the boys got a grip of the game. We played really well. Probably one of the best games of the season so far, and dominated for most of it. But congrats to Apotheos. They play a great game of soccer. Working, trying to come back in the game. So yes, a testament to their coach. And
this is what happens when you're in the mountains. When both of us are in the mountains. I know it's a testament to Apotheos, absolutely. So with everything that has gone on this season, let me ask you this. Has there been for those that may not have been a part of previous conversations, is there a player or players that have been pleasant surprises for you, or what has been the most pleasant surprise this season about what you've gone through?
In terms of players, to be quite frank, there has not been many surprises because we knew exactly what we were getting, and we were very thorough with the guys that we were bringing in, making sure that they were the right characters for what we're trying to build as a club. And then obviously, as players, we've seen most of them, if not all, play live before bringing them here. So we had a fairly good idea of what we were going to get in terms of players. But what it's been the most enjoyable, pleasant, and it made every day just a joy, is the camaraderie that we were able to build from day one. The boys have got together as a unit, as a band of brothers. They've been fighting ups and downs. No any issue, no lacks of desire, togetherness. So that's what we've been very, very pleased with. It's just the level of togetherness that has been around the team since day one.
How difficult is it knowing that you play in the midweek and then you have to play again on the weekend? How difficult a turnaround is that going to be?
Yeah, it's challenging. Obviously, bodies are tired, little knocks here and there, but at the end of the day, we're all in the same boat. And I mean, when you get to this stage, in the context itself, and especially on Saturday, playing for a trophy, that push you over the line. So obviously, boys are gonna need a couple of days to recover, but I got no doubt that when it gets to Saturday, they're gonna have 100% energy, desire, and fight to bring that trophy home.
Carlos Rubio, head coach of Hickory FC, joining us bright and early as we can see blue skies hanging out there as Hickory's getting ready for their matchup against Appalachian FC on the weekend for the NPSL Southeast Conference Championship. You mentioned rest and recovery. What about for coaches? How difficult is it for coaches in this situation to have a quick turn and study and be prepared and not get bogged down by the pressure? And, maybe is it all universal? Is it just coffee IVs now? I mean, how does this work?
I think it's more difficult for our families than for us, because in the next 48 hours we're gonna be pretty busy. But at the end of the day, this is why we do it. This is what we love. Obviously, we know App. We play them twice. Know Dale Parker really well, a really well coached team. It's gonna be another fantastic night. So the next 48 hours is just more on us, more on how we prepare the game. We know what App is gonna bring, and it's how we can prepare best ourselves. So we are as ready as possible for Saturday night. So a lot of film on us, a couple of things on App, but yeah, the focus is completely on Hickory FC.
There are times when App FC they want to grind this down. They want to be physical. They want to make sure that you're the one making the mistakes. They want to turn this into what when we were kids, we used to have the staring contests to figure out who would blink first. A lot of the time, I think that's what Dale likes to do and turns these into staring contests. How do you not blink first in a very physical match?
We're ready. We're ready, John. We got a very experienced team. Like you said a second ago, and I said earlier, they're a very well coached team. Dale is a fantastic coach, and they got a lot of history on the NPSL. So they've got that, but we got that young desire, I guess, that new to the block kind of desire to lift that trophy. and that's gonna push us over the line. That's gonna help us win that stern contest that you were referring to. It's just that desire to achieve something and put our name in the history books.
What have you learned about yourself as a coach this season?
Oof, that's a great question. A lot of things. Obviously, in my short years of coaching, only coaching at the collegiate level, it was going to be very interesting to see if our way of running a team, if our way of recruiting, if our way of if our just game module and the characters that we try to bring. The question is, can we be successful at a different level? Can we be successful at a more like semi-pro level, than not just college? And that's the one thing that we learn to that. If you recruit good character, good people, and you put the right pieces in the right places, then magic things happen. At the end of the day, character wins.
All right, give me the look of what's going on there on campus. Give me the quick 360, because I see blue skies behind you. So give me the panoramic shot here before we get out.
You got it.
Okay, so all right, you're on the curb. No one is making sure that you can cross the street if you need to. That's excellent. Nicely done. So travel plans to go from Hickory to Boone. What's it looking like?
Yeah, it's a fairly short drive, so we'll plan to practice obviously today, tomorrow, and then a short drive on the Saturday evening to be there for 5 o'clock or so. So obviously we know the area, we know the pitch, we know where we go exactly. So there is no confusion there. So it's gonna be a nice night, and we just can't wait to be part of that environment.
One more question for you. The fan support that showed up on social media last night, and how everybody showed up and showed out for you. What's it been like to see this train for Hickory FC and the fan support there at Lenore Rhine be what it's been for you this year?
Yeah, it's been second to none. Obviously, like I said before, we average in like 3,000, 3,200 fans per game, which is incredible. But not just the number, it's just the quality of our fans. Last night, out of all the games, and obviously the context plays a factor, but of all the games that our fans were on our side, they pushed us over the lines. It was loud, it was rowdy, it was fun. So they've been fantastic, and what made me extremely proud after the game is I turned around and there was about 40 kids kicking soccer balls on the field, and it was like 10:30 p.m. almost. So it was just really proud to see how the community is embracing the sport, and especially the youth community in Hickory.
If you had a question for Dale is coming on after you. If you had a question for Dale, what would your question be?
Oof, a very good question from you. Well, we did say at the start of the season when we played our friendly game, just in May, we both said that it would be incredible if we could make this game a final at the end of the season and fight for the conference against one another. So my question will be if he's still feeling the same way. I am, so excited for Saturday.
Okay, good deal. When Dale comes on in short order, I will ask him that. Get to practice, get your coffee, get your breakfast. Thanks for dropping by, especially after the win on the quick turn against Apotheos there in the semifinals. Be safe, my friend. Be well. Good luck this weekend against App. We'll catch up with you soon.
Thank you, Jon, and congrats to Dale and App FC.
All right, so that's Carlos Rubio, the head coach of Hickory FC. That's half of the equation, and this is how busy we're going to be this morning. I had to bring Coach Rubio in off the top. That's how busy we are. Dale Parker, the head coach of App FC, he's going to be joining us coming up in just a little bit. The Bart Keeler, and so, of course, at 6:30 last night, U.S. Soccer announces that Greg Berhalter's tenure is now complete at U.S. Soccer, and so we're going to catch up with Bart at 9:30, and we're going to find out the lay of the land from the Soccer for U.S. POD perspective. 10 o'clock, it is our buddy Nino Torres from Gold TV, and we're going to talk about what happened last night in Charlotte and everything that went on with it. And by the way, FS2 FS2 is doing a public service for all of us. They're doing a public service for all of us. They are re-showing the match with Colombia and Uruguay. And by the way, Colombia just scored. So they started it. I want to say they started it like at 8:30. So yes, it was a cracker of a match, as they say. So yes, if you want to have a multi-screen experience, then you may by doing it, having FS2 on whatever screen you want and us on the other screen. So we're going to talk about all of the aspects of the Copa with Nino at 10 o'clock. Then our buddy Nico Moreno was there. He was on Atlanta Soccer Tonight last night after the match was over, but he was in Charlotte, as was our Jessica Charman, and he got to see A, the match, B, all of the after stuff. And so we'll be getting into a lot of the Copa in the 10 o'clock hour and how I think that this particular match, if you did not have any idea about what Copa America means to these respective nations and what it means to be a part of all of this, then I think this was the example of what the Copa can be for everybody. So, my bracket had Argentina. I think I had Argentina and Uruguay in my final, and I still have to go with Argentina because you can't change your point of view in the middle of a tournament. But as the timing has gone, Colombia has just scored a couple minutes ago on the corner kick from James, whose value, by the way, is probably going up astronomically for Sao Paulo FC. And so tremendous stuff last night with Uruguay and Colombia. I don't think you could have had a more electric crowd. And there were published reports. There were articles like in The Athletic and stuff that said that basically the match felt like it was more in Medellin than it was at times in Charlotte. But Charlotte got a great match last night, and they're going to get the third place game. So Uruguay is going to stay in town, and they are going to be in the third place match against Canada. And it's going to be Colombia and Argentina. And they're okay. So now, as things have proceeded, we have just gotten the pinch and the elbow, and we're going to get the red card in real time here coming up in just a little bit as the FS2 viewing experience continues. By the way, and Tom will be discussing all of that too with what happened after the match and all of that. So it will be definitely a big part of the discussion in hour number 2, and it will be. Then that's what I figured. I figured that Nico might be on a plane, and so he just literally is texting as we go. So Nico can't join us at 10:30. That's so I figured he's going to be mid-flight, and he said what I figured might be the case. So we may have our buddy Nino on for a little bit more than just a half hour, but so Nico's mid-flight, not a surprise. But we just had the yellow and the red, and Darwin and Munoz sitting there going, well, he pinched me, and no, that's not the case. So it'll be Bart at 9:30, Nino at 10, and we'll probably go a little long with Nino at 10 o'clock. We'll take him past 9:30. But it was great to have Nico and Jess on last night. So we'll see what's going on. Let me see if I can tape something with Nico. Nothing like doing live radio here. So we can tape something. Let's see. When do you land? We can tape something. And so we'll do that with Nico. So Nico will be a tape piece that'll be on the network later today. But obviously coming up bottom of the hour, it's going to be a discussion with Bart about everything going on involving the U.S. men's national team and what is up with all of that stuff, man, all of that. So it's going to be a busy show, very, very busy show. Yeah, and Emilio, right, they don't have grass either. I got to figure out the whole situation here, but yeah, it looks like they had the grass put in as well. And like I said, we'll get into all of the family stuff. We'll get into the post-match stuff. We'll get into all of it. But busy show, waiting on Dale Parker to drop by and see if he can hang out with us for a couple of minutes. And then we'll have Bart carry us to the top of the hour. And then after that, Nino, and then we'll fill the rest of the time with what we can. We'll tape something with Nico, and we'll post that to the network later today. So normally turf, but it looks like it was put down very, very well. You don't see any ruts or anything like that. There aren't a whole lot of divots, but you do see the wear that's been given. But yes, Columbia is now down to 10 players. We're at 48 minutes and such. So that's where we are this morning. Had to bring in Carlos Rubio. Like I said, we're efforting Dale Parker and seeing if Dale can be anywhere near what's going on. Let's see. All right, so let me text Dale really quickly, and ready for. Okay, so there we go. All right, so we got Dale Parker, but yes, so that's the rundown this morning. That's how chaotic we are right now. It's like, okay, are folks on planes? Can they drop by? All of this kind of stuff. But we have a lot of stuff to get into this morning. Obviously, 6:30 last night, U.S. Soccer decided officially to send Greg Berhalter on his way. Like I said, that'll be with Bart coming up in just a little bit. Then we'll get into the Copa. We'll get into all of the after effects of the Copa. And like I said, we've got news this morning. We'll get into that at 10:30, plus anything else that's on your mind going from 10:30 till 11 o'clock, and we can do it then. Or that's a good idea, John. So we can do that. We can even end with Dale now that we had Nico be on a plane, so we can do. Oh, okay. So all right. So Dale Parker is going to join us for like 5 minutes, which is all we really need. So that's good. All right. So Dale will join us. I'll get his question that I got from Carlos Rubio. Nothing like having to juggle chainsaws and live guests and things. So we'll catch up with Dale for like 5 minutes and then get ready for the whole thing. And so we are now officially at the half in the FS2 watch along after the red card. Hamas is wondering what in the wide world of sports is going on. Why'd you give the red? Well, you can't elbow somebody after they pinch you. That's the bottom line. You cannot elbow someone after they pinch you. And yeah, and so we'll get into that too. Will about Burhatler, I guess. I was trying to figure out how to pronounce that. Morning, Alex. Morning, Abby. Morning, Ropes. Morning, Will. Morning to the two bots that joined us early this morning. Morning, Ropes. Morning, Tom. And morning, Emilio. And yes, relieved of duties. Fired. Yes, however you want to phrase it. So once the signal behaves, here comes Dale. And good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Yeah. So how much sleep did you get?
Oh, not a lot. It's a long night. It's a long day, let alone a long night.
Carlos had a question for you, and I will have you put a question into the ether for Carlos. Carlos said that at the start of the season, when you guys had a friendly back in May, the conversation that you guys had with one another, I think that there was an agreement that this matchup that's coming up this weekend would be incredible for a final in the conference. Carlos wanted to know if you still felt the same way.
Yeah, 100%. I think subconsciously throughout the course of the season, I feel like, Hickory and ourselves have been the two teams that are pushing and have got this goal in mind to play in a final. And in my opinion, the two best teams in the conference. I know Apotheos had a really, really good run there from the middle of the season towards the end. They just kind of dropped off right at the end. But I think it's going to be a fantastic final. What I like about it is two local teams, from an area where soccer hasn't always been, the top dog in terms of the sports, and it's just going to be a great spectacle for everybody involved, the players, the staff, but more importantly the fans, because that's what's most important, I think, if we want to grow this game and push it forward.
Last night it was goalless after 45, and you end up getting the win. What was the conversations like in a rivalry match? I will go ahead and call it a derby. What was the conversations like at the half to get the result?
I think we just had to stay calm. I don't think I've ever seen a team create as many chances as we did in that first 45 minutes. The fact that we haven't put the game away, is almost baffling. When we watched it back a little bit this morning, and we've had 4 players have 2 clear-cut chances each. So it's 8 clear-cut chances in 45 minutes, and we should have had the game put away. And then we tried to keep everybody from losing their heads at halftime. I think it's easy at that moment, to start thinking, what do we have to do to score, and start trying things that potentially you wouldn't normally try. But the key was keep calm, keep doing the same things. Don't necessarily rely on a 25, 30-yard strike from out of nowhere. That's a low percentage opportunity. Let's keep trying to forge opportunities from our football. And don't give up anything in transition. And I think the boys did a good job of that. We lost a little bit of belief when the 90 minutes came up and we had to do it in extra time. But, the 2 goals we scored in extra time were obviously good ones and put the game away.
So if you had a question for Carlos as he listens to this segment back, what would your question for Carlos be?
What formation is he going to play? No, I think the biggest question would be, I don't really know actually what kind of question I would have. I think everybody would have assumed that we would be there or thereabouts at the end of the season. Maybe what colour is he going to wear on the sidelines? Because we tend to wear the same colours.
Okay. So, all right. So we'll send that note to Carlos and I'll text him on it. How difficult is it this time of year with the elevated importance of a match? This being a conference final, the quick turnaround for both coaches and for players. I know that you guys might look at a little bit of film on your opposition, focusing on yourselves because of quick turnarounds. It's like, look, there's too much stuff on the table. We'll trim some stuff away. We'll focus on ourselves. And then that way, we can do that. We don't want to widen everything that we have to have on responsibilities. How difficult is it for coaches and players this time of year for a quick turn?
Yeah, it's tricky. It's not ideal. You'd like an extra day at least to get a proper training session. And I think that's the trickiest thing. We won't really get to train. Today's going to be a heavy recovery day. Most of our 18 that was in the squad last night, 17 of them played, and 15 or 16 of them had substantial minutes. So today's going to be heavy recovery without much focus on the game at all. Just trying to get them fresh again. And then tomorrow is a pre-game, so we'll get one day really to look at things tactically as a team. Obviously as a staff, we'll be a little bit more prepared because we've got more time to look at those sort of things. But in terms of conveying that message to the players, it will just be tomorrow. And like you said there, I think a large piece of it has to be focusing on ourselves and making sure we get the right mix of players and the right shape on the pitch against a very, very good opposition. But there'll have to be a touch of what Hickory can bring to the table as well, and we give that to the players. So it is difficult, but that is knockout football at this time of the season. It will be for whichever teams are fortunate enough to advance. It will continue to be Wednesday, Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday. So you're not going to get much time in between games, and that's just the nature of the beast. So I think we have a pretty good process between these Wednesday, Saturday games. We proved that at the end of the regular season, when we travelled on the road to the 2 longest trips that we had, and we navigated those really well. So but we've got a good process, so we're going to execute that as best we can, and hopefully we put it all into action on Saturday.
What time's kickoff at Ted Mackerel Saturday night?
7 o'clock here in the mountains. Get here early because there won't be any parking, I can tell you that.
Get your second or third cup of coffee or go back to sleeping and napping. And thanks again for hopping on the morning show, especially the night after a big win. Be safe, my friend. We will be following on the weekend. We'll catch up with you soon.
Sounds good, John. Thanks for having us again.
And that sets up the rest of the league. First and foremost, we'd like to thank everybody at Port City, at Bristol Rhythm, at Greenville United, at 865, and Charlottetown Hops for hanging out with us all season long in the regular season for the NPSL Southeast. It's been great to see how the game has continued to grow and evolve and see all of these hotbeds in Wilmington, the Tri-Cities, Greenville, Knoxville, in Charlotte with Charlottetown, to see how it has continued to grow, especially here in the southeastern footprint. And so what we did is we caught up with Diane Smith. We got to catch up with Diane and find out what it's been like to go through a first year, and you're building something from absolute scratch, and what it was like. And so here's the last interview we had after the season was over about what Diane and everybody learned about being Bristol Rhythm in year one. Does it feel like it was just the other day that the regular season started? Because, I mean, it seems like when we just started these fireside chats, it was just the other day.
It was just the other day. It was both like yesterday and boom, we blink and the season's over. And also it feels like we've done it our whole lives, but only in the good way of it feels like it's been a long time.
So last match day, what sticks in your head?
Couple things. We had one of our players scored his first goal of the season, and he had already decided that he was going to be retiring from playing before this match started. So he scored his first goal in his last ever game, and watching him celebrate and then have this, oh my gosh, I'm never going to do that again moment. It was just all the emotions. I mean, everything about this last weekend was like all the emotions of the season that I didn't have time to process, all coming at once, because we had our last match and the team gave me the nicest like photo collage of pictures from the whole season that everybody signed in like a big presentation with a speech. And then, you know, Mate scoring his first and last ever goal, and we won. And then all the players said goodbye to each other. And I feel like I've mentioned it, but in case I didn't, I'm hosting two of the players on the team, and they both left to like literally fly back to Europe. So it's just like all the things all at once. I definitely cried a lot. Just being so overwhelmed with the emotions and how proud I am of our first season, and like we survived it also.
Well, and then when you have a moment like Mate had, and you get to share in that, it reminds you why you got into this whole thing in the first place, to be this center point for the growth of the sport up there in Bristol.
Yeah, I mean, it's what he did was exactly why we started this whole team, is to get to share in that experience and to let these younger players have something to look up to as they continue their development within the sport. So we had dinner with the players we were hosting before they left, and one of them said, hey, I can't believe I forgot to tell you this. Like the players that I've been working with this season, because they did a lot of private lessons for youth throughout the community, he said they like think that growing up and getting to play for the Rhythm is like the pinnacle of how they could achieve excellence in their soccer careers. And that's so cool. They're like, can we, like, do you think I'll get to grow up and like play on the Rhythm team with you? I mean, what a cool experience, you know, for those children and for our team, to get to foresee like that could be where I could go if I keep working hard and growing in the sport and developing my skills.
Nothing like being that kind of a role model, huh?
Yeah. I mean, that's, you know, the players are like the things I've autographed all season long. Like, it's just weird. Like, I think it's super cool. Like, for them, it's just an experience they've not had before. I mean, not that I have either, but getting to be part of building the thing that created these kids wanting to go get autographs, even when we don't win, you know, like they think that what you could achieve by playing for the team is autograph worthy, and that's really cool.
So even though you're technically in an off season, it's not really an off season anymore. So what's next? How much time are you giving the family to kind of regroup, and the front office time to regroup, and everybody that was a part of the experience from an operations sense? How long of a vacation are you giving yourselves before you pick things back up?
Oh, mostly none. I did specifically say, like, I would like one weekend off, and then my husband was like, hey, we should go to App on Saturday if they win. So we'll see if we're back on the sidelines of a soccer game this weekend or not. I don't know. It's going to not be rainy, and I would love to just enjoy the nice weather for the first time in a while, getting to be by the pool and not sweating on the sidelines of a soccer field. But no, we very excited for App and the successes that they and Hickory are having. So I'm like, I'm really kind of going to want to go watch that game. Very little time because, I mean, realistically, we definitely want to continue to keep the community engaged, especially from a sponsorship opportunities. You know, like, we've got really good results with feedback from our supporters. So now is the time for us to kind of take that and see about getting some additional sponsors for next season. We also sent out a survey to the team, and I've got about half of the team has responded so far with suggestions and recommendations for things we can do to enhance their experience next season. And I want to be able to take their feedback and act upon it. And because we had such good results with our supporters and just how the community has been so accepting and embracing of the team, I got to use that to be able to create an even better experience for the team for next season. So we might take this weekend off and then get right back to it.
So once again, that sets up your final in the conference, and the NPSL Southeast winner heads to the national playoffs. It is Hickory at App on Saturday night, 7 o'clock at Ted Mackerel Soccer Complex. If you can be there, fill the joint, because you know that the fans from App will and the folks from Hickory will travel. If you can't, follow along on local providers and social media for both of the sides to figure out how you can best watch the match. And if you can't be there, once again, you can't be in market, you're out of market, you still want to pay attention. What you can do, follow along on local providers and all their social media. You can catch back up with us again next week as we find out about the national playoffs in the NPSL. So for everybody here at SDH, for Jarrett, for Nick, and Jason, I'm just John. Thanks for dropping by and hanging out with us. That's the latest of what's going on in the NPSL Southeast. Play it safe, everybody. Enjoy the conference championship.